Hi, good afternoon. This is Otto Lee again, and thank you for joining us today. Today we have a really exceptional interviewee that's willing to join us today is our good friend, supervisor, Susan Ellenberg, who has been serving on the Board of Supervisors for the past couple of years. Prior to that, Susan has been also serving on the San Jose Unified Trustees, helping our students. And today we're actually going to talk to Susan a little bit more about the situations of the fire that so many people have endured this past couple of weeks. Hi, Susan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Otto. I'm so glad to be with you.
Thank you. Well, since we are social distance, we can go ahead and get our masks off so we could probably talk a little bit clearer with the mic.
Great. Unfortunately, the air quality is good enough to allow us to have this conversation outside where it's most safe.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. Well, I'm looking at the sky today. Certainly, the blue sky is back, which is really amazing. But the county has done so much for the past few weeks fighting the fire, not just county fire, but Cal Fire, and so everybody's on board. Could you tell our audience a little bit more of what you've learned, what this fire has been taking place with this county?
Sure. I'm happy to start by just giving kind of an overview of where the fires are and what's happening. So, and also I want to note that this year's fire season has started very early.
That's right.
We really technically are hardly even at the beginning of the season where we expect wildfires.
Right.
But right now, our valley is surrounded by two major fires. The SCU Lightning Complex, which is burning within the eastern and southern boundaries of Santa Clara County, and then the CZU Lightning Complex wildfires, which are threatening our county but not directly impacting it. They are devastating the neighboring counties of San Mateo and Santa Cruz, though. Right. And it's the SCU Lightning Complex, Lightning Fire Complex, that has really pulled the majority of our county resources. And let me just share how big this fire is, too. Since the fire started on August 16th, they have impacted nearly 375,000 acres, destroyed 33 residential structures, and 20 outbuildings. The fire is about 40% contained right now, and amazingly, there have been, thank God, no fatalities and only 5 fire-related injuries.
Wow.
This fire, the SCU fire, is currently the second largest wildland fire in the state's history, and is very likely going to become the first before long. Yeah, we really are in the scheme of fires, we really are fortunate that it's largely burning in areas that are less inhabited. But the threats to San Jose and Morgan Hill are real.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In Milpitas and so many areas that's bordering the wooded areas. Now, certainly, this is something that the county has a huge responsibility to deal with. So would you want to elaborate a little bit more what you have known this county has been doing for us?
Sure. The county has been operating in a number of different ways. Let me start with evacuation orders. The orders as of today, and of course by the time you air this video it will be different, but as of today the orders impact just over 12,000 county residents, and their evacuation warnings impacting nearly 15,000 residents. And county emergency resources have been providing mutual aid to CAL FIRE since day one. And our county emergency management worked quickly to establish evacuation sites in partnership with the American Red Cross, and have kept county residents informed through Alert SCC, the text-based emergency alert system. Is that on your phone, Otto?
Yes, absolutely. We get those alerts all the time.
Good. A quick commercial. Everyone should have Alert SCC loaded onto their phone. It is an excellent service that gives you up-to-the-minute updates, safety warnings, and all of the information that you need. I'd also suggest downloading a Red Cross The Red Cross app also provides local, really useful information.
Right, for fire, for COVID, for even some of the school information I get through the SEC.
No shortage of crises these
Not
days.
Lately, that's been ringing all the time.
And we need lots of information.
Yes, that's right.
OES is also providing staffing to support the SCU CAL FIRE hotlines, which are staffed, of course, 24/7 to answer all residents' questions regarding evacuation orders and warnings.
Great.
And of course, the sheriff also plays a critical role in ensuring that residents are evacuated in a safe manner.
And also anti-looting, because I've heard story about some people actually going to the areas that's been evacuated to look for things to break into as well.
Which is really a dangerous endeavor, because even if it appears that the fires are out, there can very often be embers smoldering. There can be something just below the surface or beyond the eye's view.
Exactly.
So there are so many reasons to stay away from those areas. And the sheriff has had a lieutenant stationed at both the unified command posts in Alameda County and Santa Cruz County, so that we can get live, up to the minute, timely updates from CAL FIRE law enforcement liaison.
Right.
And of course, the county fire is working tirelessly day and night to combat this historical incident right alongside CAL FIRE. And certainly as the fire is mitigated and hopefully soon extinguished, the fire department will work to assess damages. The county will work with folks who have been displaced or because of damage to PG&E infrastructure, may not have access right now to water or electricity. So we need to get food and water to folks until their power comes back on.
Exactly. So what have people learned from this lessons? Obviously, we've had the lightning, right? That's how it all started. Only about maybe 2.5 weeks ago on a Saturday night, I remember.
Right.
It lasted close to 3 hours. It was the longest lightning and thunder. It's interesting. I remember that vividly because that night it was right before school started. And my 2 daughters decided to sleep with us, and so they were in our room when all the lightning was going off. And of course, they were all excited, and one was taking pictures of lightning.
Wow. Well, I'm glad they were excited.
Yes,
that's a more healthy reaction.
Exactly, that's right. They were a little scared, but mom, dad's there. So
it's hard to connect, what seems like just an exciting natural phenomenon to the danger and the catastrophe that followed that.
Exactly.
And this is a bigger picture of climate change, and I know that's an issue that you care passionately about, and will be a tremendous asset on our board in a leadership role on sustainability.
Right, thank you. And as you mentioned, why the fire is so much more extreme these days has a lot to do with the issue of climate change. When we have hotter water temperature, hotter average temperature in the air, which causes these more extreme weather condition of rain and then extra dryness. So what happens is you have for example, in the winter months, you have a little more rain. All the vegetation that grew up suddenly become really dry, and they're perfect fuel for the fire. And that's exactly. And with the strong winds, that's just the kind of like the perfect storm brewing right there.
Literally, yes.
Literally, yeah. So, and thanks for telling us about all the bad news of how the
well,
birds
the
are
good
doing
news
here.
is that there are a tremendous number of institutions and organizations that are on top of this and are working on the fire directly, on the human response. There's a lot of attention to animal response as well.
Yes,
Santa Clara County Animal Resources and our shelter have been working to assist ranchers in finding boarding and emergency resources for their livestock. Actually, cattle ranchers have been especially hard hit by the fires. And as the fire again is further mitigated, the county sheriff has developed a program with CAL FIRE to assist ranchers by providing them with limited access to evacuation zones so that they can feed their livestock, because of course for so many of them this is actually their livelihood.
Literally, it's life and death situation.
Right, literally life and death.
For the cattle and livestock. Now, what would you say are some of the lessons learned that we have learned these few weeks regarding how better prepare our residents when it comes to these wildfire risks? That of course is it's almost like a matter of if and not of when. That's what is always happening.
Sure. Well, for residents, whether they are in urban, suburban, or rural areas, taking a good look around your home, making sure that I'm so sorry. We have my dog in the middle of the video.
Very excited about this question, I see.
People should take a look around their residences. Make sure that there's not brush or vegetation leaning up against the house. Take a look at the utility poles, if those are around your house. If you've got wires, make sure there are no trees that are leaning up against those wires.
Right.
Certainly have a safe evacuation plan from your home, ideally 2 points of exit.
Right.
You want to make sure that ingress and egress to your home isn't blocked in any way, so that fire can get there quickly. A fire department can get there quickly.
Exactly, right.
And of course, be ready to go. Have that
bag.
go bag,
The go bag.
with food, with a few days of prescription medications, with appropriate clothing, certainly closed-toe shoes, water, and if that can just stay in your trunk in your car, if it's a gas car is filled with gas, you know, that's really the best that we can do right now. These fires are going to happen.
Right.
We have outstanding first responders who will get there absolutely as quickly as possible. There's going to be damage, and a lot of their job is going to be to mitigate the damage and to protect human life.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you have an incident with so many points of danger, I always tell people that as much as we like to rely on our county or state resources to help us out, you never know, because of the fact that when they're spread so thin, sometimes you might have to be kind of on your own. And that's why it's so important to be ready and prepared and not become a drag of the system in a way.
Which is actually what we've heard in this fire. There have been a couple of outbreaks in places where response was very slightly delayed, and we didn't have enough backup support because our resources are so focused on the areas that are in most danger. And of course, further complicating all of this is that many folks have been afraid to go to evacuation centers because of the COVID risk.
Exactly.
So we've had to make sure very intentionally to design our evacuation centers to still comply with the social distancing rules. We are not allowing people to be packed in. We are providing sleeping spaces that are socially distanced. We are providing masks, of course, as well as the usual supplies you would expect to find in an evacuation center. It's truly a double challenge, and we are up to it. We are here to serve the residents of Santa Clara County, and we will do that in every way possible every single day.
Absolutely. And I myself have a good friend, his name is C.C. Yin. He actually lives up in Vacaville. He's very famous for his philanthropy. And he actually owns close to 30 McDonald's franchises, so he's very successful. This is a very large ranch that he hosts various events. His ranch burned down. It was devastating. I've been there a few times for the barbecue or the different social events, and I've seen it on the picture on Channel 7 News to show.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's very, very sad to see what happened. And again, we will, the evacuees, a lot of them are now allowed to go back to the home a few days ago, but obviously this is something that we would need to make sure that we're prepared for the next one. As you mentioned, the fire season is still early.
It is early in the fire season. We are not close to finished with this. Since you mentioned a philanthropist, Otto, I would love to share some resources for folks who are in a position to offer help. The Silicon Valley Community Foundation has created a fund specifically for victims of either one of the lightning complex fires. And what we're anticipating also is that for folks who have to restart in many ways, maybe looking for furniture and household goods, if people can donate those now through the traditional channels, to Goodwill, Salvation Army, thrift stores, helping those entities stock up on basic household items and furnishings is a great way to help those institutions be ready for the increased demand that we know they'll see. So there are ways to give money, there are ways to give things, and ways to give time are a little bit more limited right now, because certainly we need everybody to be safe, but volunteering to serve food to take up collections
yeah,
is tremendously valued.
Right, like donation to the local food bank, like Second Harvest.
Absolutely, food banks, and there are caravans of volunteers who are delivering meals to firefighters in a safe manner. So anyone who's interested in that can look easily, mostly on social media, for more information about how to get involved there.
Right, and just a huge shout out to our first responders.
Yes.
Our firefighters, of course, our nurses has gone through a lot in the past 7 months for COVID of what they have to put up, and now firefighters is going through this as well, and you could tell the exhaustion is very real, and that they literally are risking their life doing this. And I just want to say hats off to them, and we really need to make sure that they have the right resources and support to make sure that they can handle this well, and the support supervisors, I'm sure you have done all you can to make sure they have all the resources they need.
And thank you for comparing, our nurses and medical personnel with the firefighting first responders. All of our essential employees across the county have been working heroically since the beginning of the pandemic. And one of the pieces that I was able to, one of the contributions I was able to make very early on was to lead an effort within days of the shelter-in-place order being put in place to stand up childcare at no cost to all county essential employees.
That's awesome.
And within less than a week, we had partners with Boys and Girls Club and First Five and the County Office of Education and Healthier Kids Foundation, and we got kids into safe, high quality childcare environments very quickly.
That's great.
And that was essential because clearly parents cannot go to work if their children are not well cared for, and even in the middle of the shutdown, amidst the shutdown, we needed these parents to go to work.
Yes, we need them to be focused and not have to worry about the home front if the kids are okay.
Right. So I'm very proud of having gotten that in place, and I'm working hard to expand childcare in an ongoing way to all of our county employees who need it.
Exactly. Great. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Susan, for all your hard work that you've done in the past few months. I've only been on the board for less than 2 years.
This is true.
There's a lot has happened.
It's a
year
lot.
2000 has not been really a good year for practically anyone, and we're still only close to September, so we still have a few more months to go.
This is true. It's not anything I would have asked for, but I am so grateful to be in a position where I can work every day to have impact and to try to alleviate the suffering of our community members. So thank you for the conversation. I'm looking forward to partnering with you in all of this work on the board.
Thank you so much, Susan, for all your great work. And again, thank you for joining us today, for a very amazing person that we've able to listen to, Susan Ellenberg, doing great work for our county, for our families, for our children. Again, this is Otto Lee, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm going to put my mask back on.
Yes, when you get my mask back on now. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.